Hello, I'm Richard Gisbert, and you're at The Listening Post. This week, North Korea.
Kim Jong Il. He's so elusive, virtually no one outside of the country knows if he's alive or dead.
Reporting the most isolated country in the world. The Wall Street meltdown.
I read the news today. Oh, boy.
Troubled times for the U.S. newspaper industry. A cartoon has a big impact on politics in South Africa. And oh dear leader, Kim Jong Il gets the Super Mario treatment.
Ein Sechs-Mächte-Gespräch. Vorsicht, die wollen mit dir verhandeln. Ignorieren und weitermachen. Nachdem du an den...
Welcome back. What do we really know about the Democratic People's Republic of Korea? There are no Western news bureaus in North Korea. Few foreign reporters get access to the country or its people. And the domestic media are under strict state control. The news coming out of Pyongyang is so restricted that when their leader, Kim Jong Il, did not turn up for the country's 60th birthday celebrations recently, the world's media went into speculation overdrive, with rumors that he had suffered a stroke or even that he had died years ago and has since been replaced by a double. But where does the real story lie, and how much truth is there coming out of the rumor mill? That's our starting point this week, propaganda and the pitfalls of reporting the closed world of Kim Jong Il's North Korea. September 9th, and the world's last Stalinist state celebrates its 60th anniversary. For the global media, though, it was a case of what was wrong with this picture. There was no sign of North Korea's leader, Kim Jong Il.
The mysterious leader of one of the world's most mysterious countries is now missing from view.
A Japanese expert on North Korea claims the country's leader, Kim Jong Il, died of diabetes back in 2003.
Like his father before him, Kim Jong Il is North Korea, a seemingly all-powerful ruler whose life, like the country he leads, is shrouded in mystery.
Well, I think you always get a cult or a mythology surrounding someone in the absence of hard facts. I think with Kim Jong Il, you've got someone about whom we do not know that many hard facts, and I think this has led to the media rumours of the last week or two about his whereabouts.
Inevitably, if there's a great deal of secrecy in the state, news is going to be controlled and rumour is going to be very powerful. I mean, it is a simple fact that Kim Jong Il hasn't been heard speaking in public since 1993.
North Korea is a regime arming with missiles and weapons of mass destruction. States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil.
When trying to understand the North Korea story and the nuclear angle, it's worth remembering that much of the Western media, particularly American media, have aided the Bush administration's demonizing of two other states in the infamous axis of evil, Iraq and Iran.
Frightening new details on a story you heard first right here on Fox News Channel. North Korea is now rebuilding its main nuclear facility.
But when it comes to reporting North Korea, sorting out the propaganda from both inside and outside the country is made much more difficult by an almost complete lack of access.
Each filming is closely monitored. It is forbidden to film this propaganda village.
Clearly, the North Koreans are very suspicious of journalists. They think that all journalists are spies. Essentially, they don't allow journalists in unless they're very, very tightly controlled. And most journalists will be shown the monuments, if you like, of the main city, Pyongyang.
Mr. Kim and Mr. Chang, our guides from the North Korean government, were always lending a helpful hand.
So when stories about North Korea make it into the global media, how do they get there?
We have to take into account what reports we're getting from neighbouring countries, and here I'm speaking of the South Korean news agency, Japanese sources, and even Chinese sources. So, for example, the Japanese news agency, who were reporting that the Japanese Prime Minister was saying, oh yes, we've got information about his health, but we're not sure, how things will go. That tells us that things are happening under the surface and that information is coming out.
North Korean officials are describing the reports of their leader's ill health as groundless.
There are various rumours from time to time of his demise. There were 3 or 4 years ago, it was reported that he could have been killed in a railway explosion on the border with China. So, South Korean intelligence, Japanese intelligence speculates and sometimes gets it wrong.
What are North Koreans watching and hearing? almost nothing that their government doesn't approve of. The state-run TV channel is a cheerleader for the government. This breathless anchorwoman reporting a successful missile test in 2006 is a prime example of news reporting inside the country.
The first thing to remember is that the media in North Korea is very strictly controlled by the state. The main source of information for the people is the central radio network. There is also a central TV station and a cultural TV channel, but not everyone has access to TVs. When it comes to the internet, it's really just reserved for the elite, and the same goes for mobile phones.
The anti-US propaganda is totally prevalent in the DPRK. There is absolutely no access in North Korea to outside media whatsoever. It's illegal to listen to foreign radio stations, even if you're able to pick them up. It is, not surprisingly, called the Hermit Kingdom, and for very good reason.
One of the few broadcasters beaming a signal into North Korea is Radio Free Asia. It is funded by the U.S. government. The Korean government sees it as an American propaganda tool and regularly jams the station's signal.
We have some stringers, de facto stringers from North Korea in Seoul and somewhere around the Korean peninsula. And those stringers can contact inside North Korea. So the outside broadcasting is very essential to their daily life, and North Korean propaganda media never carry that kind of news.
Kim Jong Il's official biography says he is a former film director who, before succeeding his father, led North Korea's propaganda efforts. He considers himself to be an expert on the media. It is ironic that despite all the propaganda surrounding this story, the global media knows so little about Kim and the country he leads.